Want to review an issue that a lot of people have with ArchiCAD, and that is specifically talking about sloping exterior trims. A lot of times we end up jumping through major hoops to get these things to clean out. Here we've got a barge rafter and a fascia that, this is just some crown molding, but whether it's square stock or profiled, includes a gutter, whatever the trim profile is, these two things, this is running horizontal, this is sloping up with the roof angle, don't like to miter out and look pretty. So there's a couple of things that we can do there, depending on the design intent. So here, this is just a vertical piece of fascia. But if this piece of fascia matches the roof slope here, and if we look here, this roof slope is at 26.56 degrees. This is rotating down, so we're actually going to make that, I believe, negative 26.56 degrees. We can see there that it actually trims out and looks really nice. You then have to go to the roof edge and adjust that roof edge to be perpendicular. We can get to that in the pet palette there. And then that follows your fascia. That's one solution based on your design decision, whether you want this fascia board to be perpendicular to the roof slope or vertical. Perpendicular, it's super easy. Those things, just as long as the slope of this angle matches the rotation of this piece, they miter out really nice and clean. If you wanted that vertical, as we looked at before with this vertical fascia board, then we have a couple of other options. The easiest is to just have a little segment of beam right here. So if we look at pulling this back, I'm just going to pull this back like that. Now you see this looks all nice and tidy, but we want to see this kind of cope out and match that piece right there. So what I'm going to do here is actually take a piece of beam, and there's probably some minimum length, but here I'm just going to make it 1/8 of an inch long. And we could see that copes out like that really nicely. If this piece then comes back down and intersects with this, you'll see that it's dropped down from the roof edge, but not so much that you're going to see it in any elevation section or probably even at a detail level. Like that offset right there, if we measure that out, is a 1/16 of an inch. So if we pulled this back, let's say half that distance, it's even going to be less. It's going to be as precise or more precise than it will ultimately be built. So it's, in my mind, it's not as much of a concern, and that's one of the workarounds that I've done to make this work before. Another way to handle that is to basically take this piece and turn it into a morph, or take a couple of pieces, turn it into a morph, and pull those back so that they're flush with the corner. The problem with that is that the beams and the morphs don't like to intersect. Here you can see we do end up with some of those coping lines coming through, which we would anyway, but with the morph you get even more lines coming through that. So this is really one of the cleanest ways to deal with that, is just to have a little fragment of a beam turning that corner.